See, there is one interesting habit our teenagers exhibit, and this is so painful to us parents, especially when we look at these children as the children we brought up, and the child that was being so sweet, and all of a sudden, this child now look at you as if you are his or her mate. And don't be too surprised that these teenagers they are growing, and the way they grow, sometimes they feel that they've known it all, or the way you talk to them is kind of demoralizing them. And at the end of the day, you see them now reacting in a negative way. And this is one thing that pains us as parents, because no child of ours that we give birth to should reply us or use body language to insult us indirectly. And this is painful. You see, parents, you are not alone in this, especially for those that have teenagers. Well, we are plenty in it. That sometimes when you talk to your teens, he or she will just look at you as if, what was this one actually saying? And this is where I bring in the topic of how to handle disrespectful teenagers. You see, disrespect and teenagers, they are 5 and 6, because at that stage, so many things influences them: friends, what they watch, what they see, the society. And sometimes their hormones also deceive them by feeling that, oh, they are big enough, or they can do it on their own. And sometimes when you talk too much, they feel that you are embarrassing them. At least the one that comes to you to tell you that, mommy, stop embarrassing me, is even good. What of the ones that will be rolling their eyes or put hand in their waist or be squeezing mouth, and while you are talking they will just be doing it so that in a way to get back at you? That is the teenagers of this generation. And you, the parents, you are wondering, am I the only one in this? Or is it the way I am bringing up my children? I try as much as possible to do the right thing. Where did I actually get it wrong? If you've watched to this extent, you are not alone in it. You didn't do anything wrong. Neither you didn't bring the child well. You see, why growing up the child listens to you? Why growing up that child is the sweetest child anybody could have imagined to, would have even loved to have. But as they grow up, they began to change. And these changes are things we begin to see and notice and begin to tell ourselves, where is this sweet child that everybody praises while he was younger? Where is this sweet girl that everybody praise and say, God bless the mother that gave birth to you? That child is no longer there. No, it is not because you are doing it wrongly. It is because as they grow, they change. And if we parents cannot notice when they change, they will begin to mess things up. Let's say, for example, that your child is the one that always listens to you whenever you talk. He doesn't complain. And all of a sudden, when you talk, instead of him to reply or keep quiet, you start seeing him making gestures, either hissing, putting hand on the waist, rolling eyes, or even murmuring. That one is so common, murmuring. And by the time you ask, what did you say? The child will keep quiet. But immediately you turn your back, the child starts murmuring, not knowing that that is an indirect insult to the parents. Well, the child was never told that that is an insult. So how will the child know? Then here comes the main problem. You see, some of this problem that these children exhibit is as a result of what we, the parents, cause. Yes, somebody should not say how I gave birth to the child. Yes, you gave birth to the child. But remember one thing, that this child is growing already. This child is learning things. This child is seeing things. So if you decide not to know, or you've not told yourself that this child is actually growing, then there is going to be a big problem. You see, a lot of us, whenever our teenagers provoked us, we push the matter to the end that even the child will say, mommy, do your worst. We don't know when to say stop. That is where I said a lot of us parents don't know what to do. We don't actually know when to stop. This brings me to a question a parent sent me and said, my child is a very loving child when he was growing up. But now you see, whenever I talk, it's as if I'm getting this body language that tells me you are on your own. The hissing, the murmuring, the rolling of eyes and all. These are the things I fear the most, and my child is exhibiting it. It's like he's insulting me, but he doesn't know that he's insulting me. And guess what I told the mother? I said, first and foremost, what did you do to push the child to that extent? That's what I'm saying, asking you, parents. What did you do to the child, to the extent that that child begins to react? A lot of us don't know that when our teenager get to a threshold, they start reacting, and until you know when to put a stop to a certain issue, you will keep getting that. And that was what I told the mother. I said, if you can notice even while you are talking and that child started changing, that is when you should put a stop. And there are various ways to handle children that disrespect parents. There are so many ways. First and foremost, you start with us, we the parents. First, you need to know when to draw the line. If you don't know when to draw the line, then you start having these disrespectful teenagers. Yes, a lot of us push them to the extreme. Sometimes you see, even me, if not for the sake of I've made an open communication in my home. Sometimes whenever we are angry, especially we mothers, let's be sincere with ourselves. You see that we start pushing them. You start talking, and when they are telling you, "Mommy, it's okay, let's talk," you are not allowing it. The first thing is you allow open communication so that when you've gotten to a particular threshold, these children should be able to tell you, "Mommy, we've heard. Can we sit to talk about it?" And by the time you hear your child tell you this, then you know it is time to put a stop. Yes, it is time to put a stop. By the time you do this, then you know you are already winning the battle against them. And remember, they are not alone. Most time, most of us do things that whenever their friends come, that is when we like to embarrass them. These children, they have emotions too now. Abi, you want their friends to start laughing at them. No, that is the problem with some of us parents. Then another thing we should do as a parent in a way to handle this disrespectful teenager is make a clear boundary. There is one thing we don't always, a clear boundary, as in choose your battle. Tell the child it is normal for you to get angry, but when you do this, this is the punishment that follows. And by the time you start exhibiting this, the child will know. And to an extent, the children don't even know that that attitude they are presenting is even disrespecting. So you as a parent should first of all tell them, do you know that you rolling your eyes at me is even disrespectful? Or do you know you hissing while talking is disrespectful? Another thing, putting weight and be pumping is disrespectful. By the time you tell the child that I know I am overdoing it, but that doesn't give you the right to do this, and let the child know the consequences of every of his or her action, then you start winning it. Another another thing a lot of us do as parents is this, that whenever we want to exert discipline, we do it publicly, whether in the presence of visitors, in the presence of their friends, we just do it, or in the presence of their siblings. And we are forgetting that we are demoralizing these teenagers. Remember, like I said, that a lot of them feel that they have grown up, so they deserve some small respect. So, and that's you, the parents, do not see this reason why they actually deserve this respect. So before you know what, you're already shouting, you are telling what they ought not to hear and everything. A lot of us parents actually act like this, and this is enough reason to demoralize them. Then you see them start rebelling. Why not do it this way? Instead of you yelling for the whole community to hear, why not take that child to a secluded place, even in the room, sitting room, here is just both of you. There you cannot tell the child, this thing you did is actually wrong. Why did you do it? And see the child communicating back to you in a respectful manner instead of being disrespectful. You see, that time you've been shouting, you've been doing things, the child at that time is already pushed and already provoked. The next you start seeing the child murmuring, the putting hand on the waist, pumping and doing a lot of disrespectful thing. And but if you choose this method, you find out that the child is calm, is able to communicate to you. And this leads us to another method of way to curb disrespectful children or disrespectful teenagers. Another way will not be open communication. Make sure you are communicatable. Whenever they want to talk, whenever it becomes too bad, mommy, calm down. Mommy, you are getting it wrong. Mommy, that is not how it happened. Mommy, can you listen? When you start hearing your teenager raising such talk, then you know it is time for you to listen. And if you are openable, approachable to listen, you see you winning battle against these disrespectful teenagers because they need to be heard. Fine, it is us that gave birth to them, but once in a while, it is good for you to listen to them whenever they talk so that it opens a whole gap of communication. And the most important one among the is always have time for family time. It is where issues are being trashed. One thing with family time is we listen and we don't judge. And so because it is where we listen, then you start seeing where you are wrong and you also be telling them where they are wrong. With this, you all have a common ground. And whenever you hear the issue, whenever you say we are having a family time, let it be is a time that they are happy because it is time that they will hear their mind and they will be able to communicate to you. Another most important thing is this: most of these children don't know that what they're actually doing is even insult. So how would they know that rolling their eyes, murmuring, putting hands on their way, pumping, and so on and so forth is disrespectful without you telling them that this thing you are doing is disrespectful and this is the consequences of it. I might be wrong, but that doesn't make you do this. And by the time you start letting the child know, then the child start acting. By then, instead of the child pumping or twisting mouth and twisting eyes, the child already know that if I do this, it's being disrespectful to my parents. Might decide to say, okay, mommy, can we talk about it? With this, you know you are already winning the battle towards this disrespectful teenager. And above all, we should remember one thing, that a child does not just grow up to be disrespectful. There are things we do as a parents that provoke them. And if we can retrace our step back to know those things that we did, that we are doing that is making them disrespectful, then you know what to do. And at the end of the day, you get back your loving child and not that disrespectful child. Have a beautiful day.